Hi, my name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today I wanted to talk about Be the Answer. Be the Answer is a class that I have created, an 8-week class that begins at the start of September on shamanism. You can go to rarebirdmedicine.com, click on the classes link if you'd like to learn more about this topic. Shamanism is something that many are being summoned to step into as a path. And I do think that's an answer to many, we could say, prayers, thoughts, consciousness, ways we've been shaking the web with our awareness of like, hey, stuff's got to change. Our Earth's going to be destroyed. We're all going to die. It's like, yeah, we need some people on the answer system path. And that answer path to me is about love is the answer, understanding is the answer, compassion is the answer. And I mean that in the most INFJ extreme way. I think there's a lot of people down here that I think would identify themselves as loving and love, sharing love and loving kind. And that's true. And those same people also, I find, often have a wall to where I think that's all what we're all kind of learning about. Where is our wall to the awareness of love's presence? So they will come up against a wall. Yes, I'm loving. Yes, I'm kind. Yes, I'm generous of spirit. But if you're this, then no. Then you're a bad guy. Then you're a bad guy. It's like, what is a bad guy? I mean, what is this realm anyhow? What is this idea that we're not supposed to have rapists, serial killers, murderers, torturers, bullies? I mean, let's just look at the facts. I like to look at the facts. Here's some facts. That's always been around. There's always been shadow teachers down here. There's always been toxic poison teacher. There's also always been light in medicine. So if we're going to choose light and we're going to choose medicine, another way to say, to me, the shamanic path is the medicine person path. If you're going to choose and opt in on getting medicinal, then that means being compassionate. And it means choosing compassion in response to self and response to others. It doesn't mean being right. That sounds like the ego. I'm right. You're a bad guy if you do these things. And I'm right. It's like, okay, well, that sounds a lot of bit like your ego, actually. So if I'm not busy being right about my opinion sack, which is what all nearly 8 billion two-leggeds are doing, myself included, often, then I can step more into a medicine person space, and that medicine person space is a space that has compassion for all of my brethren, for the unevolved, for those that haven't made it home yet to themselves to understand that what they do to another, they do to the self. It's really interesting to me that so much projection is just accepted in this dynamic. It's like now we're in the years and the hours of let's all loudly hate white males. Let's all loudly do that. And let's call everyone a white supremacist. And it's like, okay, if you're being hateful, if you're being separatist, if you're being judgmental, and you're being unkind, from my perspective, you're not being the answer. If love is the answer, then any level of separatist attack of another, we can call not the answer. You got it wrong. That's an F minus. That was not the answer. I think of many white males that have been teachers and tremendous medicine to me as somebody who studied Wicca and witchcraft for tons of lifetimes. Gerald Gardner and, Gardnerian magic and Scott Cunningham, Mr. Rogers, Bob Ross. You can take your spiritual teachers, Ram Dass. There are definitely lots of spiritual teachers that are white males that were offering the answer of love, offering the answer of coming back to the self, offering the answer of compassion. And I feel like we're in an age where it's just like, just share any kind of foolishness and let's all pretend like that's truth. It's like, hold on. What did you just share? Was it love? Did you share love? Because if you were sharing love, if you wanted to share union, bridge building, unification, oneness, at-one-ment, atonement, then there's some wisdom being dropped in the room, and let me open my ears and open my heart and let me receive it. But the question for me is always, what is the frequency? If you just shared separation, if you just shared judgment, which is separation, it is wall building, it is false evidence appearing real. If you just shared something that makes you or others superior to another group, I don't care which direction you're doing it, then falsehood is present, and let me get out of the room. Because that's not the lecture I'm trying to listen to. Because I want to be the answer. I want to be a medicine. And that includes self. And so sometimes what is most needed in our life is to be compassionate with the self, to be a steward of the self, to say, I don't want to do that, or you know what, this doesn't feel good to me. So, you're welcome to judge me that this doesn't feel good to me, but this doesn't feel good to me, and I need to step away from it. I can't consciously be a steward of self-love, self-care, and self-respect and force myself to move towards something that keeps feeling off. I've had that lesson. It's been very painful. I've been in several days of depression. I've been in depression all week. And always want to get myself to share authentically. So still getting myself to come on and share these messages with you. And what I can say in this place of depression, part of what feels so difficult for me right now is I came to a realization that there was something that didn't feel good to me. And I had to set a boundary, which is not my forte. And then I also don't feel permission often for things to feel not okay for me, because much of what I've been handed in life is, everything feels fine for you. Just take what you get. And so it was really uncomfortable to do. It was really painful to do. And with this INFJ personality, I'm the most internalized type of matrix. So I'm introverted intuitive. So I'm like inside of a building, in the basement of another building, inside of myself sometimes, in these worlds of thought. And I question myself and analyze myself a lot. And it's like, was that right? Yes, of course it was right. It didn't feel good. The experience I was having didn't feel good. And I no longer have to just sit and take unpleasant experiences. I can be like, this feels unpleasant, and Heather needs space. But we can often feel like we don't have permission to be the answer to ourselves. We can lean into others or force ourselves to do things that we don't want to do, rather than being the medicine person. I'm noticing a lot from two-leggeds leaning on others to get what it is we're seeking. So this is probably my Aries, Jupiter, and Chiron, my wounded healer, astrologically speaking. But I do believe in self-reliance. I'm not saying, never have community or lean into your community. A lot of signs point to alcoholism and addiction having to do with lack of community. I'm just saying you're quite capable on your own to be a medicine to your inner throne. And for many, it would serve to just get still and be alone. Just be with the self and what feels good to me? I just had a good teacher come into my life, and she's like, how much focus is fun in your life? I'm like, let's see, I work about 20 hours. I'm writing a chapter, which is not my work, but that's a daily large chunk of my time. And all these things I love. I love being a spiritual teacher. I love what I do. But as far as fun, flying a kite on a windy day, or even watching comedy, which is a huge medicine, I highly recommend, some of that sacred clown medicine. Don't forget to joke around down here. Don't forget to not take it too seriously. Don't forget to play. Don't forget, it is just a play. Remember to laugh at the characters. You know what I mean? Don't take it so seriously. I get to remind myself that and remember that all the time. And for me, being the answer does mean expanding my bowl of compassion expanding my bowl of empathy and understanding to all of the two-leggeds that be down here. There's no such thing as somebody offering false evidence appearing real, shadow-based teacher and them not having had that teaching themselves. Birds of a feather flock together, like consciousness comes together. There's a reason there's dysfunctional, unevolved people down here. And so, why are we pushing everyone? Get home, be evolved, be evolved, be evolved. It's like, okay, aggro spiritual guru, calm down. Here's an idea. Let's sit and hold high thoughts for those that are in unevolved states, for those that had false teachers. Let's have compassion for their inner child. Let's take a moment. Here's a wild idea. Let's take a moment to extend compassion to all of those that we would judge, all of those that we would build a wall between self and other. Because if you knew better, you do better. And people that know better do better. And if they're not doing better, and if they didn't do better by you, you can trust they had probably even worse teachers than you do. Lucky you. So being the answer to me is about being willing to shake the tree of your life with health and medicine and care and respect, reverence in both directions for self and for all of life. It is about being aware that all of life has the capacity to experience pain and shadow teacher and light and ease and grace teacher. And there's a lot of people putting a lot of pressure on their mates, on their friends, on the people in their life to save them. And I would say save yourself. Also, you don't know, your partner, your friend, your person that you're leaning on to save you out of your own creation, powerful creator that's creating your own matrix. Your tendency to lean on others to bail you out. I've done it many times. I've had moments where I'm just literally pacing my house. I need to talk to anybody. I don't want to be in the space I'm in today. I don't want to be with these thoughts. I get overwhelmed at the darkness that I can hold. And sometimes it serves me to just be where I am. And to know that I can hold my own hand. I can fireman's grip my own arm and pull me out of that pit. That I actually have the capacity and the inner strength to be self-reliant. I can choose to write words and affirmations all around me. I can choose to give myself content through spiritual text or whatever it is. YouTubes or information I can choose to chew on and choose a diet of information that aligns the consciousness to a higher, more exalted place. I can meditate. I have so many things at my disposal to bring myself into a greater state of alignment. And I'm the steward of this. And as many of you may have experienced yourself, and the good Lord knows I have more than I would want a two-legged too, there are many hours you'll experience down here where no matter how many friends and family members, no matter how many people you've been kind and loving to, no one is going to come and bail you out of your situation. I've had tons of dark hours that I got to face alone. And certainly there are people that love me, that wanted to support me or would have helped if they could have. But part of this realm is facing the shadow teacher. And can we just make peace with it? Can we just understand that it is a teacher in and of itself and that there's no real threat? You're made of energy. Energy can't be destroyed. So can we step more into being empowered to face our own lives and being more compassionate with being a steward of this prize, loving it, creating space, creating distance, being willing to be alone, being willing to know who you are, what your desires are, what you seek, being kind and compassionate if you need something, and being more understanding and less judgmental of everything in life, because it also has the right to be right where it is. Join us for Be the Answer starting in September. Go to rarebirdmedicine.com, click on the classes link. You can always subscribe and like or comment on videos through YouTube as well. Blessed be.